India actually is one of the big stars worldwide when it comes to world demand. The biggest growth in food demand is currently happening in India. Economic growth is good, very good. Population is growing, middle class is growing at a rapid pace. Demand per capita is still relatively low, so there is a lot of pent-up demand, a lot of new demand developing in the edible oils, and this is being reflected in also higher imports. Yes.
And when you look at edible oils, the other segment within that is biofuels. How are you looking at that impacting the supplies available as food?
That's a very difficult question when it comes to consumption of food items, consumption of edible oils for biofuel, because there is a competition between food demand from the consumer, not only in India but worldwide, and feedstock demand from the biofuel industry. And this is not only biodiesel, it's also aviation fuel, it's marine oils. So there is an additional demand which has to be satisfied, which is getting difficult in the current season. It's going to get difficult particularly in 2025 because the global market is facing a shortage in sunflower, a shortage in rapeseed, and uncertain supplies for palm oil. We expect, in our global analysis, we expect a recovery in palm oil production next year, while this year world palm oil production only stagnated and world exports of palm oil declined sharply, which this year could be compensated by higher exports of sun oil and rapeseed oil and soybean oil. But sun oil and rapeseed oil production and exports will be declining. So the big question mark is, to what extent can soybean oil and palm oil production and exports increase? Now, the world is in a situation of surplus supplies of soybeans. We have some problems in Brazil at the moment because it's dry, plantings are delayed, but it's still time to improve. So it looks like that also South America is going to have another very good crop next year. World supplies of soybeans are ample, but soybeans have only a small oil content of 18% and a big protein share of 79, 80%. So the global market cannot satisfy, cannot produce sufficient soybean oil without creating a surplus situation in meal. And this is going to become a big problem also for India. India is supporting soybean production with a relatively high minimum support price and protecting the industry with a higher import tax for oil. But India is dependent on exports of soybean meal. And it will be very, very difficult for the crushers to compete in the global export market with the South American meal and US soybean meal exporters. So it very much looks like that the soybean crush in India is going to decline, that the soybean crush is mainly limited by the domestic meal demand, which is only 6.2, 6.3 million tons, but that the export market for soybean meal will be declining. This will limit the soybean crush. This will probably most likely result in a buildup of soybean stocks in India.
All right, that really is a view coming in from the global experts as well, that going forward, things do not look so simple and it's quite uncertain, especially once you get into 2025. That is where you could be looking at shortage in case of some edible oils and higher prices and uncertain supply of palm oil. So while 2024 is about policies, 2025 could really be about supplies going forward, and that would perhaps keep the prices higher. But with that, that's all the time that we have on this edition of Commodity Champions. News continues on CNBC-TV18, so do stay tuned.